Thank you so much for requesting more information about how you can play Empower in an Hour. My name is Anthea Fenton. I'm going to be going through this presentation. I'm going to try and stick to the slides because that's why I prepared them, just to make it easier. But I do have a tendency of telling different stories as I go along, so bear with me, but know that it's going to be a fun, informative, it's going to give you more information about how you can get access to Empower in an Hour. For the first time ever, I'm looking to empower 101 testimonies. I need 101 testimonies basically to showcase that this is a powerful tool. So if you're seeing this right now, then you are one of the 101, and I would just encourage you to listen to the whole of this presentation and make that decision to opt for Empower in an Hour. It's actually free. All I ask is for postage and packaging. So I'm going to show you that right at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to go through the actual game itself. I'm going to tell you a little bit of history about how it came about, so you get to know me a little bit. I love people, and so I created this game because of some of the issues that I was going through. I was wondering, who else is going through this? Who else can I empower? And who else can I offer these gifts as a gift back to humanity so that they can add it to their practice, they can create a new practice, they can just use it for themselves, or they can use it in their community. So this is a really universal tool that I want to create into a movement that people can either just play the game, and that's completely fine, or they can go to the progressive route, which is really discovering our authentic self and sharing us with others. So welcome to the Transformational Clarity in 1 Hour tool, how to plan your life and focus on what you really want. Welcome. So let me just share with you more about this powerful game. As you can see, I am Anthea. I'm the creator and author, and what I am looking for is co-creators. So people that just walk their talk and are able to access these tools and create this toolkit that they can become a transformational coach, or whatever label you want to call it, a facilitator of change. And the way that I do that is I help to shine the light onto who you are, so that you can bring out the best of who you are and share that with the world, and we do it collectively. And what my role has been to remember how to make this bridge of transition from doing to a heart-centered way of being. So many of us have been doing, and one of the slides will show that, so I shall just reel back in there, shifting into this being, just being, being confident in who you are, just holding space, having that sense of purpose, a sense of direction, a sense of the strength of who you are that just emanates from you, that people can resonate with it. People can, yeah, it's called, I guess they call it attraction marketing nowadays, but the intention is for you to be so solid and confident in who you are, and you may already be that person. Fantastic. All we're doing with these tools is taking people through to reset the balance so that they can cope better in this world in all aspects of their life. So what I do is teach how to realign to self. And as I'm doing that, I'm also doing that for myself. So I'm still working on it, but I know that the energies are now moving into that place where we can align much easier. And they are universal gifts back to humanity. So let me just share a little bit more about me, not you. So there I am. When I was born, I almost died. I had gastroenteritis. And so I was vomiting and diarrheaing, and so basically my chakras were completely out of balance, and there's a lot of reason for that. I was born into a very unhappy environment. I was a result of an affair. My father wasn't with my mother at the time. I actually met my father when I was 2 years old and ran down the corridor shouting, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." And what I realised at that time, well, I realised it much more now, is that I had, I guess, my intuitive self, my psychic abilities were really quite strong as a child, and nobody ever spoke about anything on that level. And even now, I don't really speak much about it other than recognizing that awareness of knowing a little bit more than maybe what we've been taught in school. So right from being born, I had an awareness that I didn't really know that I had, if you know what I mean. And I know some people resonate. So as you can see at the top of this slide, you've got you can see here that there's this lightning. And so that for me represented change. So right from being born, and there's not much difference now if you can look. I mean, I've got a purple headband on, I've got a white headband on there, and a green one on today. But right from being born, I had an awareness, but I was very sad about being in this world. And so you can see here that this was a time when I was at school, and you can see that my hair is a bit kind of like out of balance. And that was a time that I'd gone to school, and basically my brother was 13 months older than me, and he didn't really like the fact that I was on the scene. And so that was a picture of my school. I think I must have been about 6, and I'd actually had my hair burnt at that point. He burnt my hair, he'd pushed me through a window, and so I've got a scar that's on my face that's been there from being young. I love my brother, and the reason why I'm sharing this story is because of change. The amount of change that I went through growing up before the age of 5 was quite traumatic. You know, having your hair set alight, being thrown through a pane of glass on the 11th floor of our apartment flat that we lived in. There was a lot of change that was taking place in my life. And so you can see here that these little symbols represent a lot of my life and the changes that the areas of change that took place. And so there's the wellness, which is health. So obviously my health was majorly compromised at the time. And then here, this third picture along was me at the age of around 10, 11, with my sister. We were having an ice cream as a treat. But you can see how I'm kind of like slumped over, totally lacking in confidence, no self-esteem, was really quite a timid and very sensitive child, as I said, having that awareness that I didn't quite understand. And then me here, further along with hay on, was me trying to step up out of my zone of uncomfortable and feeling very timid. And I was 16, 15, 16 at the time. And I remember one of the teachers really surprised at how slim I looked, because I would always hide myself. I was always really painfully shy and didn't know how to step up out of that, because I was just surviving in my environment that was kind of very vulnerable and very volatile at times. Lots of siblings, or lots, I say lots of siblings, a good handful of siblings that needed attention. And so I knew that I needed to stay quiet and kind of like be a bit shy. And in a way, even bringing this tool to the world and doing these videos, there's a part of me that's still quite timid and shy, but I know I have to step up into the truth of who I am in order to be able to shine my light for other people to do the same. So I was one of the first, in fact, the first in the family to get a degree. That was in 1993, which seems like an absolute lifetime ago. It's last decade. And that was a really good experience, because I was told that I was kind of like not very clever, and that I was just going to care for people all my life, like caring. People who care aren't intelligent. And so that was a really good foundation. You might think, well, how can that be a good foundation? Because it meant that there was very limited expectations about how I was going to grow. And so my growth was very much stunted until I chose that actually I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to become me. I'm going to step up into my truth. And as a result of that, as you can see along here, I did a lot of this stuff here on the undergrowth, which is personal development. I had a goal, I had a dream. And the dream was that I wanted to nurture seedlings to reach their full potential. So you can see these little seedlings here, and that's a seedling. And that seedling is that inner core, that inner calling of who we are, that inner being, that whilst we're busy doing an outside, which is this pyramid here, whilst we're busy doing that, we can't tap into this, which is our inner self, that inner nurtured self, nurturing self, that self that we can nurture in order to be able to really step up into our truth. So what I needed to do was a plan. I needed to get really clear. And as a result of that, I've managed to create Empower in an Hour. So I really wanted to take you along that journey to share with you that there I was, very timid, very shy, empathic child, I know now. And if you're empathic, if you're highly sensitive, I believe you are. I believe everybody who watches this video is resonating and will resonate with what I'm saying. And this tool came to me along with the book, and you can see here that this is my book, Life After Stress, Anxiety and Depression. And that was a label that was given to me whilst I was working within the care sector. I was working in the charity, and I had uncovered that something wasn't right, because as an empath, you can feel when there's dissonance, you can feel when something isn't quite right. So you're being told something that's not the same as what you're feeling. So it's like these two battles are going on. And at the time, I didn't understand that. I just knew that something wasn't right. I just felt really strongly in my gut. And when you think that when I started out in this world, I had gastroenteritis, and that's the gut. So the gut had to really heal in order for me to be able to really tune in with truth. And as a result of that, I resigned from the place of work and I wrote my book. And the book that I wrote was to heal, was to help to really put pen to paper my truth. That it didn't matter what everybody else, and I had 13 major trustees from charities that were against me, but I had to speak my truth, and that was the most important, the only thing that I could do. And as a result of doing that, I found my voice, I found me, because my voice had actually gone. I actually worked for the organisation was called Voice. I mean, you can't get any more clear than that. The signs are always there. And so my pursuit of happiness, which is here at the top of this picture, was about earning a living, which is the money there. But there was an imbalance. There was an imbalance between my time, health, and money. And that's what this game helps to reveal. It helps to reveal, well, where are you in that balance? Because most of us are imbalanced. It's just part of our lives. But what we're able to do is, if we're able to really claim this change of how change comes into our life, and we can turn it into a star, which is a plan, then life becomes so much easier. The way that we do that is by nurturing our true self, which is what this game enables you to do. That's the overview of the game. I hope that resonates. So the next slides I'm going to go through a lot quicker, because I don't need to explain much more. I really wanted to use the visuals to explain this process. One of the biggest things that I've missed out here is the hopes and dreams. This is what kept me going. So my children, I used to have these images on the flip chart at home. And I had the sun, and I had the cloud. It was like health, money, and then I had the undergrowth, which is that undergrowth and the seedling inside. And the children said to me, Mum, if you've got a cloud and a sun, then there's a rainbow. And that's how simple this process came about. And so the rainbow for me was about, what is my goal and what is my dream? And my dream came to me of being, I'm here to nurture seedlings to reach their full potential. And I know that I can't do that. All I know that I can do is to recognize you as being a seedling of hope, and a seedling who maybe is already reaching their potential. But that potential for me is about bringing together a community of people that are all going out there, supporting, nurturing, including their own journey and their own tools, but adding this as a tool to enhance them and to enhance the journey. So there's a lot to this process, but it has to be broken down in simplicity. That's more about the game, and feel free to pause this video to read through those parts on this slide, but I've gone through them exactly the same as what I've just gone through on the other slide. So what is this game? The game is Empower in an Hour. It's a boardless board game, so it rolls up and it goes into a tube. It's easy to store, and it's really cute actually. And basically, all the instructions are actually on the board, and what we have is handmade counters. Now, I haven't got them as a visual, but you'll see them when we play the game. The handmade counters out of 5 more, and so what happens is you receive the toolkit, which I'm going to share with you more about that shortly, and I have the game here, and I play the game on your behalf. So I throw the dice, unless you've got a dice at your end, and we play the game and we interact that way. Because normally what we would do is just sit in a home, or we'd sit in the cafe, and I put the game out and we play and we interact like that. We have a cup of coffee, so we sit and have a little bit of a drink, and we just have a conversation. And the game helps to guide us and helps to keep that focus, because you know what it's like. You go and you're chatting to somebody And before you know it, time's gone by. This just helps to, in an hour, to keep focused, and everything comes out that needs to come out. It's really, really incredible. Some of the benefits of playing the game, and again, this is just a very short list that I put together a while ago, and it doesn't really give credit to the game as such, because there are so many benefits that people get. Everybody's individual, everybody's unique, but what the main thing is that it gives us time. It gives you an hour out of your busy time. We've all got the same amount of time, but how we use it is what makes a difference. And so we sit down and we focus on an area. It might be money, health, time, personal development, and we create that action plan that helps you in the meantime. So in the meantime, whilst you're busy maybe doing lots of work, it's about how is your being. So we're really tapping into the being side of who you are, which has been neglected for all of us. Because none of us are used to that being in many ways. As much as our world is changing, that it's more about being, so that we're much more calmer and life's a lot easier. So the game is good for self-discovery. So it helps you to dig deeper into your awareness and what's going on around you, what's going on within you. It's a form of emotional intelligence. So it helps us to start creating that dialogue, increasing our communication with ourselves. And that means ourselves on a cellular level. We start exchanging words, bringing out words in order to be able to release any stuckness. Because sometimes we don't realize that it's the vibration of our voices lifting that helps to shift the vibration within our body and helps us to feel better. It's straightforward, it's to the point, it's about goal setting in many ways. And it's just time to sit down and just be specific and just get into attaining what it is that we want to achieve in this life. People that can benefit, again, feel free to pause this video. Everybody can benefit. I mean, it's great when you play the game kind of like physically, because the young people love the game, especially children, because of the counters. But online, we're just going to test it out. We're going to test out how we can do it. And I've played this game online with young people that haven't had the game, and it's been powerful. And I've played it with those that I've sent the game to them. But that's another strategy. We need 101 people all at once committing to doing this process, so that we can then have those 101 maybe share with their family and friends. But we've got a team of us then, because I can't do this on my own, and that's been the stumbling block for a long time. So you can see there that individuals play, family and friends. Oh my gosh, it's fantastic for increasing communication. It's brilliant to be able to really sit down and have a family playing, because it allows each person to have like the talking stick. It's like having the campfire in time gone by, where we just sit and talk. And as I say, it's just like, that's what we've created, a tool to be able to help us to connect again to our hearts, because our world's not been heart driven, and we're moving into a place of being heart driven, and you're part of that process just by either playing the game or taking it forward into your communities, carers, young people, mature people. It's a fundraising tool. It's small, medium and large companies. I've used it for team building and planning, sharing visions. So, are we all on the same page? That kind of thing, really listening to each other. Incredible. So, like I said, it needs an army of people. If you're sat there thinking, do you know what I could do? That could, and that, perfect. Reach out, because that's what I need. I need people that are forward thinkers and people that are going to take action and say, do you know what? I want this, So that's what I'm looking for ultimately, is for it to be spread across the world, every home, to have an Empower in an Hour tool. And it's not about profit, it's about people. And so it needs a lot of like-minded, like-hearted people to see the vision and jump on board and create that space in their time to do this. Home-based businesses, so people that are wanting to sort and shift, and especially in terms of network marketing and affiliate marketing, where people find teams of people to go out there and market. Perfect for that. Coaches and therapists, healers, especially healers who are part of this shift and reset, this transition that we're in. Some of the tools that people have been using before won't be working the same, because we're at a higher vibration, and this tool is come from a higher vibration down to meet and to help us to rise. So It's not come from an underneath angle. It's come from the ground up, but it's not come from the density energy. It's come from above. It's come from a place of peace, love, harmony, all the things that we want to bring into this world. That's the energy that this carries with it. And it's also an educational tool, so it's perfect for schooling, to help young people around making choices in their lives. How can you get to play? This is how you get to play. So this is introducing the actual mini empowerment toolkit, Send and Play. You get also free coffee as well, which is kind of like, how can that be possible? So it's been a really carefully crafted strategy to bring it to you. So I really hope that you can appreciate that, especially when we're offering it for free. It's like, okay, but it's a pilot, 101, and then we switch it out and change. It's basically based on an honesty contribution. So in order to be able to play, I just ask for a contribution. Now the contribution really is to pay for the tools. It doesn't pay for my time to sit here and do the facilitation and the empowering in an hour with you. But I really, really look forward to that. I've spent a lot of time putting these strategies together. I'm thirsty for people to come and experience it, and just for you to experience that energy shift. So what you'll receive in the post, so I'm going to give you the details of how you can access it, and I know you might be itching at the bit and you'll find the information below, but I just encourage you to finish listening to the presentation. What you'll receive is an empowerment card, and you'll also receive 2 sachets of gourmet coffee, and it usually makes about four gourmet cups. Just saying that to you so that you can understand the value of what you're receiving, that it's not cheap. This is a really valued process because I value you. I've come across so many people over the years that have wanted to access coaching. They've wanted to access somebody just to sit and listen, and it always costs, doesn't it? It's kind of, why does it always cost? That's just the exchange rates that we charge in this world. But I wanted to try and create a way that wasn't free, because there isn't anything free in our world. Everything is about an exchange. But instead of it being too high priced that it prices you out, I wanted it to be an honesty contribution that people will pay what they can afford. Now, most people, the intention is to pay a donation, and the minimum donation will cover the costs. Anything extra is a bonus to help to feed me. It will help to help me to continue doing this work. So there's not any penny or any cent that is, or euro, there's not any bit that is not utilized in putting back into this process, because it's a new way of working. So the empowerment session that you get is valued much more than £55, but I've kind of put £55. If you had to have a one-to-one empowerment session, then you could charge, as a facilitator, fabulous facilitator, you could charge £55 an hour. So or $75. So I'm just highlighting, and in fact, like I said, those are tiny amounts. It is much more than that. So I really hope that you can see the value of this, and that you want to support it from an ethical point of view, from an ethical, heart-centered space, is what I would hope. So that's what you get in the post once you decide to play Empower in an Hour. The facilitators kit, which should be the fabulous facilitators kit, is when you receive the actual mini kit, what the next thing to do is to go back to your email that you receive once you confirm that you've purchased and made that honesty contribution. You'll get in the information details about how to book on to the session. So go back to the email and book your session straight away, because I'm on a mission for 101. So it means that that's a lot of time for one person to facilitate. That's 101 hours. So it means that if I get a bit tired, then I might do a group session, and still saying you're going to get a lot of value actually out of the group. But if you want the one-to-one, then there's only going to be limited places. So I would suggest just get on and get there quick. Don't skip this video. Maybe come back to the video if you just want to get booked in, but that's perfectly fine. But do finish watching the video, because it's taken me a long time to do this video, and I don't know why, but it's just not been recorded, and all sorts of different reasons. So I know that there's a specific reason for, even if it's just resonating with the energies of this video. So that's what I use at this end, is the actual game itself. The game is for sale for people who want to get on board and help to spread the word. So I have got a special website for that. So if you're interested in that, then do let me know. Dive in. This isn't something that's going to be too complicated for you at all. Everything's been done. It really is experiential, and in the experience comes the confidence to be able to know that you can deliver this to your friends and families. Young people deliver this process really, really well, really well. They don't take any messing. And so I have an action plan card. So I write down the actions that we work out as we're playing the game. And the most important bit is that red part, is the kettle. It's to put the kettle on so that when you book your appointment, then both of us can sit and we can just relax. That's the biggest thing that you're going to get from this game, I believe, is relaxation. It's to really relax into your dreams, what you want, your goals. So remember that kettle. So just to recap, what you're going to get is this: contribute and connect to play. So contribute whatever it is that you can afford for the postage and packaging. And then I will send out to you an empowerment card. If you want to, I often say every 6 weeks you need to check in, because once you start opening up one area, another area starts opening up. There's 6 areas altogether. So if you was to play it throughout the year, then it would be 6 times that you would play. If you want to book in for 6 times and you want to use the contribution below to do that, then do that. Because what this process is about is testing out how different people want to work. This isn't, I can put down, right, we're going to do it this way, but then there's 5 other ways, 10 other ways that come in, and it's about, okay, how can we adapt this process to the demands that are coming in? And that's what I want each fabulous facilitator to be able to do, is to adapt to change, because this is what we're doing. It's like we're adapting to change, so we're being the solutions to the issues in the game. So we're being the solutions for if people want to generate money, if people want to increase their health. There's extra bits of knowledge that we've got in our little rucksack or toolkit that as we're playing the game, it will emerge. And so the solutions are part of the problem. So that's what we've created. And so you get the empowerment toolkit, you get the 2 sachets of coffee, and you get the empowerment session, and then that's all of it, as you can see there. When you receive that empowerment mini toolkit, then do book your empowerment session immediately. And the details, as I said, are in the confirmation email. All I ask from you is that you, once you've experienced the game, is that you give me testimony. That's the testimony that I require for each person that have experienced the game. And you begin your sentence with, I've been empowered in an hour and I feel. It's over to you. And that's the goal, is to have 101 testimonies of people experiencing the game online in order to be able to encourage other people. So rebook every 6 weeks for follow-up sessions and adjustments. So like I said, we're on phase 1 of this mammoth task. The next level is your testimony, and then that rebooking and that adjustments, constantly adjusting to be able to create that balance, because it takes time, doesn't it? You will be empowered in an hour, and you will feel great, and you will be able to ride the wave of what you set out as your visualization for playing the game and creating an action plan card. The next part of that is life continues and change. It's taken a while for you to get to where you are, so it doesn't happen overnight, but at least you're in control, and that's what it is. It's about being more in control of your own emotions. That's the key. So again, you can discover how to become a co-creator of the Empowerment Clubs Global. So sign up below, contribute what you can, complete your details, receive the empowerment kit and book, and welcome to Empower in an Hour. Transformational clarity in 1 hour. The outcome: a personalised, aligned plan of action. Discover how to become a co-creator to this space. And also as well, do check out antheafenton.com. You will see on there this process. You'll also see on there other, like the book process that accompanies this is the manual. So when people want to become a co-creator, they go through a manual process, which is telling their story. And then from telling their story, they're able to gather 10 testimonies, and that makes them a fabulous facilitator. Thank you so much for listening. I don't click on the next screen because I'm sure that I put on the what you'll get, but no, I haven't got it on there. So unless I stop and share, in fact, no, I shall leave it at that. So do click on down below to receive your kit, and I look forward to facilitating so excitingly our Empower in an Hour game. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the next slide. Bye bye.